captain's dropship was from this area. That was over 12 hours ago. When you locate Captain Keyes, radio in, and I'll come pick you up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another exciting Halo mission. Subtitles got a little weird in that cutscene, but 343, gonna 343. You'll see, well, incidentally.
Dropship Victor 9, Pillar Bottom. Assistance. We are under attack by some new kind of hostile. This is Covenant. Captain Keyes has been captured by hostiles. Dug in at a large structure in a swamp. We can hold out. Please. I will send this message to repeat at intervals. Dropship Victor 933 clear.
Yeah, I just wanted to come by and show that off. A little bit of extra context and story. If you're playing on easy difficulty, there will be a new weapon among those ammo boxes over there. But as we are playing on Legendary, that will not be the case. Well, like I said, it's only on easy difficulty. They make you... I'll just say that the new weapon is very good and very powerful, and the higher the difficulty, the longer they make you wait to get one. Kind of a fun little thing they do. So, like the radio broadcast said, we're heading to a facility located deeper in the jungle because Captain Keyes got captured by something that maybe wasn't Covenant, maybe the same thing that crashed that dropship over there. I mean, we're used to seeing downed Pelicans, but a downed Spirit? As you can tell by the video link, this level is a bit shorter than other missions have been. My friend that I've alluded to, he mentioned that this is more of a cinematic mission, and that's definitely true, although I think it's still engaging despite that. Oh, hey look, we're picking up friendlies on the radar. Well, I'm sure we'll link up with them soon. Kind of a awkward hill to jump over here. Yeah, you show those Covenant Marines. Now, on normal or like heroic or below, you can pretty easily fight these Covenant, but on Legendary, there's just a huge amount of them. So it's better to just run inside as quickly as possible, kind of clear out the area behind you, and eventually the Covenant will lose interest in pursuing you for reasons that will become very obvious very soon. So kind of hold them off at the entrance for a little while, and then you'll be good. Now, that sound that you just heard, that's the elevator coming up on its own. Maybe the Marines that were in here sent it up after us. That's nice of them. I think this is the first level where we really... Okay, so you've seen those glyphs on, like, carved into elite armor before, but I think that's the first time you see them on the walls, like, painted on the walls and stuff, which is cool. Accidentally get spotted there, but that's okay. There were a bunch of Covenant all bunched up around that door. They don't move until they spot you. Wonder what they're up to. Now, you might have noticed, wow, that's embarrassing. I missed, like, every headshot there, but oh well. Speaking of which, though, you may have noticed that Covenant Resistance, despite the fact that Captain Keyes is supposedly being held in here, you remember how difficult it was to extract him in Truth and Reconciliation, so Covenant Resistance here seems comparatively light. There hasn't been a single elite so far. And indeed, this mission isn't populated by nothing but grunts and jackals. And obviously jackals, as you see there, they can still be a threat, but they're no elites, that's for sure. This is another level where I wouldn't worry about ammo too much. There's some plentiful... There's a pistol refill coming up soon, like an optional one. Even if you don't take it, this level gives you a surplus of ammo. Hey, a pistol hit I didn't miss for once. Full disclosure, this Forerunner facility is definitely very big and confusing, so there's no shame. Unlike the previous level where I kind of made fun of people who got lost because there's literally big arrows on the ground. This one is definitely a little maze-like. Even speedrunners get kind of lost and turned around here. So don't feel too bad if that happens to you. Setting up a energy bridge for later. Now, for the record, I'm not actually lost. Trust me, okay? I'm not lost. I know where to go. If you notice, those jackals, even after all the commotion, they're facing another door. I wonder what. Looks like dripping green stuff on the ground. No, I'm sure it's not. Okay, so even though ammo isn't really a concern, maybe be a bit more conservative than I'm being. Although sometimes in Halo 1 the weapon spreads can be just pretty wide and there's not much you can do about it. Not to use that as an excuse, it's just sometimes you will be less accurate than you would maybe want to be. Because there is some randomness to the spread. That's another thing. Oh. I don't think I did that. I don't think my plasma grenade did that. I definitely didn't do that. Oh, there's a lot of dead grunts in there. Make all that blood. Maybe... You know, we haven't linked up with those Marines yet. I think this is the only time in the series you see needler ammo just like on the ground by itself like that, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that's another thing that makes the plasma pistol really good. It has a really tight spread.
Stay back! Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things! I'll blow your brains out! Get away from me! Ah! Ah! Don't touch me, you freaks! I won't be like you. I'll die first! Find your own hiding place. The monsters are everywhere! Play dead! That's what I did. Play dead. They took the live ones. Oh God, I can still hear them. Monsters! Ah! 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 Just leave me alone! Mendoza, Vicente. Oh God, the things took them. Away, away. They're gone! Get it? Gone! They won't get me! Oh God! Oh God, I don't want to be like...
So, you can actually kill that Marine for his pistol ammo, but maybe you don't feel like doing that for whatever reason. You don't really need to, or anything. I mean, if I was playing this level off-screen, I probably would just take his ammo, but figured I'd play this Master Chief a little more in character, maybe. Now the game encourages you to pick up some assault rifles, but I'd recommend holding on to the plasma pistol.
Why do we always have to listen to this old stuff, Sarge?
Watch your mouth, son. This stuff is your history. It should remind you, grunts, what we're fighting to protect.
Hey, if the Covenant want to wipe out this particular part of my history, that's fine by me.
Yeah, better it than us.
You ask them real nice next time you see them, Vicente. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige.
LZ looks clear. I'm bringing us down.
Hey, that's not Foehammer. Get out of here, imposter.
Go, go, go! Stay close, Jenkins! Mendoza, move it up! Wait here for the captain and his squad, then get your ass inside.
Sir!
Okay, let's move!
Which is weird, right? I mean, look at it. Something scrambled the insides.
What's that? Plasma scoring?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was an accident, you know, friendly fire or something?
What do we have, Sergeant? Looks like a Covenant patrol. Badass elite units. All KIA.
Real pretty. Friend of yours?
Nah, we just met.
Right, well, let's get this door open.
I'll try, sir. But it looks like these Covenant worked pretty hard to lock it down.
Just do it, son.
Yes, sir. Got a bad feeling about this.
Boy, you always got a bad feeling about
Captain,
something.
Sarge, can you hear me?
What's going on, soldier?
We've got contact, lots of them, but they're not Covenant. They're just staring through us. What's the phone? No!
Corporal, do you copy? Over. Mendoza, get your ass back up to second squad's position and find out what the hell is going on.
But-
I don't have time for your lip, soldier. I gave you an order.
Sarge! Listen!
What is that? Where's that coming from, Mendoza?
I don't... There! Mira!
Hold still! Hold still! Let him have it! Sergeant, we're surrounded. God damn it, Jenkins! Fire your weapon!
There are too many,
Don't
Sarge!
even think about it, Marine.
Oh, this is local!
Jenkins!
Alright, sorry for leaving you there on your own for a little while. But quite the twist, isn't it? Very impressive. All the marketing for this game hid this twist in the months before release. This was a big surprise in 2001. These little popcorn dudes, they call well, you know, like the little subtitles said. At the bottom right, this is another enemy faction. These are the Flood. There's a third faction on this ring. They don't seem to like either us or the Covenant. These little dudes, they're called Flood Infection Forms. Very weak, they only have 1 HP. a hit from anything will kill them. That actually includes if one of their buddies explodes next to them, that actually kills adjacent infection forms. When you have shields up, they're pretty harmless. But if you ever get caught in a swarm of them with your shields down, you're basically dead. Even the mighty Master Chief falls to a single infection form. Grenades are pretty good at clearing them out, but be careful with your plasma grenades because they charge. Now here, the main backbone of the Flood forces, these are Flood combat forms. They're pretty easy to manage for now, but that will change. Although, watch out for the melee attacks. It has a deceptively long range. You might, well, not that one, but you might notice some of these guys have like tentacle whip on them. That makes their melee range a lot bigger than the players. You may have noticed, you can actually shoot their arms off. And that's helpful because you may be thinking, didn't you definitely kill that combat form? Yes, I did. Yeah, seems like they don't really like the Covenant either. I'm just gonna sneak on by, don't mind me, have your little brouhaha. Yeah, so, Flood, every time you kill a Flood combat form in this game, it has a 40% chance of reviving itself. Although, I believe it will only revive itself once, so it's helpful to shoot off their arms, because if one suddenly springs up in an area you've already cleared, a lot less dangerous if they only have the little, their rifle. Now, might be a little hard to tell, these old graphics, but these are elites that have been converted by the infection forms. So the way it works, infection forms, they latch onto a host with enough biomass, such as an elite, they convert it into a combat form, which then kills anything not Flood related in the area, so then the infection forms can infect the corpses, is basically how it works. They're fleshed out a lot more in future Halo games, but for now, a lot of this is, implied in dialogue and stuff. Luckily, it's a little hard to see, but there's a Covenant squad up there, kind of distracting them. Yeah. Now, you might be wondering... Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it. In that initial room, there's pistol ammo on the ground somewhere, so I picked it up. There's human weapons all over the place on the ground in that first room after the big cutscene. So you're good on it. Incidentally, you might be wondering, the game is like showering you with assault rifles. Assault rifles are actually really good at taking out the infection forms, but like I said, the infection forms are basically harmless when you have your shields up, so when it comes to fighting Flood, you want to find the weapons that are best at fighting the combat forms, which in this mission are, of course, the Magnum and the Plasma Pistol. Although, the Needler is actually very effective on the Flood, like, just damage-wise. I find, like, practically, it doesn't... So that's the way, that's the path forward, but I wanted to show off a little event, because you might remember we actually came in a different way through an elevator. So I just wanted to show you, like, what happens if you try and backtrack. The developers did think of this. Like, what's stopping me from just leaving the facility right now that everything's gone FUBAR. Yeah. So you want weapons that are effective at fighting the combat forms. Okay. Well, I'll wait. No, this is a good time to speak of it. So, there's some misconceptions about this that I wanted to dispel. A lot of people seem to think that plasma is ineffective against the Flood. That's actually not true. That it's neutrally effective. It does neutral damage. In fact, the assault rifle that a lot of people think is good on Flood, it actually... Well, I'll wait until after this. Yep. Sadly, we're stuck down here for a little bit. Gotta find another way out. But yeah, a lot of people think the assault rifle is good at fighting Flood because it's good on the infection forms, but it actually has a... It only does 60% damage to combat forms, so it has a damage nerf against combat forms. Incidentally, that new weapon, if you were playing on Heroic or Normal, that new weapon would be right there. But as we're playing on Legendary, we'll have to wait a little bit longer. I always like this room, it always looked neat to me. There's some Flood combat forms in this room, but there's not really anything here, so best to just rush the elevator. Uh-oh. No, wait, don't go down, don't go down. No. No, don't take me deeper. Now, remember how I said the Flood were easy for now? Well, now they have weapons. Become a lot harder to manage. Flood can wield any weapon. You will find Flood with any like infantry weapon in the game. They don't have sniper rifles, and there's no Flood with rocket launchers yet. Not in this mission, honestly. But yeah, it makes them dangerous because they can wield any Covenant or human weapon. Now, so there's actually some Marines down there. There's a squad of Marines that didn't get wiped out, but there's also a ton of Flood, and the Flood just mopped them up very quickly. Not much you can do, especially on Legendary. Kind of wish they just completely demolished the Marines. You can see the Marine corpses on the ground. Even if you do, and overshield on top of the boxes, active camo in here. Now, I waste time fighting these guys because one of these combat forms has a new weapon. This is the way to get one early, the shotgun. This weapon is extreme. This weapon is the Flood killer and probably could be considered the best weapon in the game. It would be competing with the plasma pistol, but very good weapon. Good on Covenant, especially good on Flood. It tears through Flood. Of course, that makes Flood wielding shotguns incredibly dangerous, so you want to take them out. They're high priority targets, I guess you could say. Even on Legendary, there is a guaranteed shotgun spot later in the level, but this is how you can get one early, starting from after you take the elevator down. Of course, shotguns that you find being held by Flood have low ammo. Like, I'm already running low on ammo, but don't worry about that. So there's shotgun ammo refill coming up. It's funny how much more dangerous assault rifles are when they're being turned on you. But oh well. I would rather a Flood form have an assault rifle than a shotgun. Maybe, well, I guess it depends. There's a pistol refill. So, to be clear, the assault rifle has a damage reduction on Flood, but the Magnum actually has a damage bonus. This has led to a lot of people thinking... There's a lot of misconceptions about the Flood in Halo 1, incidentally, but some people think that, like, the Flood... How do I put this? You know, like hard pings where you, like, headshot a Covenant and they die instantly? People think that if you shoot the infection form in the chest, that's like hitting their headshot. Oh, by the way, you probably started to notice some human combat forms mixed in with the elite ones. Yep. So any human that gets hit with an infection form turns into a combat form too, and that's probably what happened to most of Keyes' squad. If you remember, one of the Marines mentioned that he was captured by the Flood on the little radios, so I don't think they infected him in quite the same way. We'll get more into that later. Again, Needler Flood are actually very dangerous because they're more accurate with the Needler. You know, they run after you. It's not like the stupid grunts that stay in place. So I guess like after the shotgun Flood, I would say the Needler Flood are like the next highest priority to take out if you see them. Oh, they can totally jump up here. It's just sometimes they miss there. But yeah, people think that if you hit the combat forms, like where the infection form is burrowed into them, that's a headshot. It's not. That's only the case in Halo 2 onwards. The Flood don't have like a weak point in this game. It's just that the Magnum does bonus damage, so people think that they're getting headshots when they're just... Oh. Yeah, so what happened there was, I wanted to play this cautiously, but I figured the footage would be kind of boring if I did that, so I kind of just jumped down there. Almost got myself killed, but I clutched it, luckily. Incidentally, you might be wondering why I'm wasting time killing the infection forms when they're kind of harmless. It's because sometimes the infection forms can get in the way of you getting a checkpoint, because if there's too many infection forms around, the game will consider you to be unsafe. And you won't get checkpoints. This becomes a real problem in the next level. I mean, this level's pretty short, so it's not so bad, and pretty easy, to be honest. Like, I only took health damage because I'm recording a video. I wanted to, like, get a move on. There's some combat forms above me. Incidentally, grenades are very good on combat forms because they lost some of their intelligence in the conversion process, so they're not as good at dodging them as Covenant are. Frag grenades especially are really good. Incidentally, that's kind of a weakness of the Flood because as of this point onward, frag grenades that were rare, they become a lot more common because sometimes human Flood combat forms drop them. So that's nice. So they become a lot more common. That's a downside for the Flood, because the Flood are especially vulnerable to frag grenades. You can wipe out entire squads of Flood combat forms with a frag grenade, and obviously they're effective on big groups of infection forms too. Although that means chain explosion reactions become a lot more common, so that's something to be careful of. Incidentally, something that becomes a lot more common from this level onwards, platforming. You may have noticed already, there's a lot more platforming in this level than there have been in levels previous. I missed the jump a few times here, because you're kind of supposed to jump from the other side, but there's also a combat form that was kind of messing up my jumps, but incidentally, Flood combat forms that have no arms, they're actually completely harmless. That becomes important on a mythic difficulty LASO runs, but that's not what we're doing here today, or ever, probably. But yeah, if you manage to get both of their arms shut off, completely harmless. Kind of thinning out the Flood horde. Yeah, because when you turn on that bridge, a big army of Flood starts pouring through that door, and it's not just the one wave either. Now, this brings me to another misconception about the Flood. How do I put this? There are some sections in this game where the Flood infinitely spawn. That is true. However, people think there are a lot more infinite spawners than they actually are. Maybe I'll talk about that more in the next level, because there's going to be some dialogue here.
This is Echo 419. Chief, is that you? I lost your signal when you disappeared inside the structure. What's going on down there? I'm tracking movement all over the place.
Sir, thank God you're here. We've been lost out here for hours. After we lost contact with the rest of the mission, we headed for the RV point, and then these things, they ambushed us. We gotta get out of here.
There's a large tower a few hundred meters from your current position. Find a way above the fog and foliage canopy, and I can move in and pick you up.
Now, even on Legendary, there will always be a guaranteed shotgun there if you didn't grab one off of a combat form. But, I'll just say this level's a lot harder without a shotgun, so try and grab one as early as possible. Now, in this part, the Flood do infinitely respawn. And eventually, there are a lot of Marines, but eventually they're going to get overwhelmed because... Yeah, just like that. The main reason is because infection forms that latch onto a Marine, they actually kill them in one hit. There's a lot of infection forms crawling around out here. So I guess do what you can, but your Marines are probably going to die, which is very funny because if you've ever read the Halo the Flood book, all the Marines, or at least some of the Marines, survive this combat encounter. Now, yeah, a ton of Flood, as you saw by the enemy radar, the motion tracker. Yeah, Flood just come pouring down both sides of the canyon, so it's a bit callous, but you kind of have to leave them behind. You don't want to get into a dragged out fight. You get to the structure in the middle of the swamp, and strange robots come. They start helping you. Now, on Legendary, this part changes a little bit. On lower difficulties, this part is on a timer, but on Legendary, this part does not end until your little robot guys, until there's only one left alive. Now, you could expedite this by killing your allies, but that felt a little cheesy. I'd rather just play it out. This part isn't... Once the robots show up, this part is easy. But yeah, Flood infinitely spawn until the cutscene triggers in this part.
Greetings. I am the monitor of Installation 04. I am 343 Guilty Spark. Someone has released the Flood. My function is to prevent it from leaving this installation, but I require your assistance. Come, this way.
Chief, I've lost your signal! Where'd you go? Chief! Chief!
It was a little hard, maybe, to see in the mission, but yeah, you gotta fight your way to that central structure, and then it starts the end of the level, like, sequence with the robots. But, yeah, quite the twist, wasn't it? Join me next time for Level 7, the Library. You know, buckle in, it's gonna be another long one. Although, I have some bonus footage included in this video. Now, I have crapped on 343 a lot, perhaps maybe unfairly, but I did want to showcase that they absolutely butchered this level in the remaster.
Locate Captain Keyes, radio in, and I'll come pick you up.
I mean, you just go back to the beginning of this video to compare, like, look at this. It is so bright. They turned on the lights so much. All the atmosphere is just gone. I have no idea what they were thinking with this. This looks so bad. It's so bright. They also kind of ruined the sound effect on the assault rifle IMO, but I mean, Bungie kind of did that first, to be fair. Yeah. So those like mysterious marine allies earlier, you can just like flat out see them now. It's like, oh, there's a Flood combat form. It's great. Thanks for spoiling that, I guess. Amazing. Well, that doesn't look intimidating at all. That entrance. If you thought somehow the indoors is even brighter than the outdoors, this is wow. Well, okay. This is pretty bad, but as long as it, doesn't get any brighter. Oh no. Don't worry, Marine. I'll save your eyes from the brightness.
Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things!
But sadly, I can't save myself. It's very green in here. Why is it so green? Halo Combat Evolved. Secret of the Ooze.
Why do we always have to listen to this old stuff, Sarge?
Watch your mouth, son. This stuff is your history. It should remind you, Grunts, what we're fighting to protect.
Hey, does the Covenant want to wipe out this particular part of my history? That's fine by me. Better than us.
You ask them something nice next time you see them, Vicente. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige.
Which is weird, right? I mean, look at it.
Yay, happy confetti. Well, okay, they ruined the atmosphere of the level, but surely they didn't make the Flood way more generic and lame looking. Nope. No, they did. They did. Lame.